From places filled with crime to others known for their unpleasant weather, today on Across the Globe we will examine 10 cities in America that everyone is leaving. With so much talk about people relocating, it is easy to find out where they are moving to. But what about the places people are leaving behind? We have selected 10 cities that residents are currently departing from in their search for a better life. Let us get to it. 10. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Our list begins with the largest city in the good state of Minnesota, the Midwestern city of Minneapolis. It serves as the county seat of Hennepin and currently has a population of about 439,430 residents living on a total land area of around 57 square miles. To be fair, this city does have an innovative economy due to its large number of industries, which range from software to renewable energy, so it was usually considered among the better places to live until recently. While the easygoing residents of the City of Lakes may enjoy the wonderful waterways, great outdoor views, and the convenience of having many major industries, the devastating effects of the previous pandemic have left a lasting mark. Since last year, many people have been motivated to move elsewhere. Many residents also complain about Minneapolis's winters, pointing out that they can be very long and extremely cold. In recent years, thousands in Minneapolis have either lost or changed their jobs, bringing the unemployment rate to an all-time high of 10.08% compared to the national average of 3.5%. Recent events may have also contributed to the wave of violent crime that has recently washed over the city, raising the crime rate to 18%. This new development has earned Minneapolis a spot among the most violent cities in America. These violent crimes include robbery, rape, and aggravated murders. As a result of this violent crime spree, former residents like Julie Orden cannot count the number of times she had to dial 911 when gunshots rang out outside her North Side home. Another resident, Marnette Gordon, had to rush her son to the emergency room after he was shot while getting gas. Given these circumstances, it is easy to see why someone would move out too. 9. Chicago, Illinois. One place you would never have suspected to be in danger of losing its residents is Chicago, Illinois. But it turns out that is the case. The large city of Chicago is the most populous in the state, with a current population of around 2,756,546 residents, living on a total land area of about 227.3 square miles. On the surface, Chicago is a cultural center with a well-diversified economy, one that makes it one of the richest cities in the world. If you take a closer look, however, you will find that it is a bit hard to get a job here, as the rate of unemployment stands higher than the national average at 4.3%. With a job market that is currently struggling, the cost of living in Chicago does next to nothing to ease the burdens of locals. In fact, it costs 33% more than other cities in Illinois and 25% more than the national average to live here. As one would expect, this puts an enormous strain on the pockets of residents. As if that is not enough, the rate of crime is another cause of concern among locals. Today, Chicago is only safer than 10% of the country's cities, and residents here risk a 1 in 103 chance of being victims of violent crimes. People seem to be leaving for other places in pursuit of a better professional life, lower taxes, and a safer environment. 8. Denver, Colorado. Denver is yet another place where scores of people have been moving out recently, and frankly, we do not blame them. Denver may be the most populous city in Colorado, but this large city is having a hard time keeping its residents. It has a current population of about 738,594 residents, all living in a total land area of around 153 square miles. And that number keeps counting backward. The city of Denver, which is also known as the Mile High City, has its famed ski slopes, beautiful mountain views, and an interesting combination of big city life with culture. But it also has an extremely high cost of living. It is 8% more expensive to live in Denver than in other cities in the state, and 12% more expensive than the national average. This big city may have a job market that is doing quite well, but that comes as little consolation to residents when considering they may have to dodge a few bullets on the way home. The crime rate here is more than double the state and national average. Residents of the city have a 1 in 113 chance of being victims of violent crimes, and this is a chance many people are not willing to take. 7. Detroit, Michigan. Here comes another large city in another state that is losing residents at an alarming rate. Detroit is one more place in Michigan that United States citizens seem to have had enough of. This city, which is in Wayne County, has a current population of around 635,596 residents, all living on a total land area of about 138.7 square miles. Also known as the Motor City, Detroit is famous for being the automotive center of the world. It has an average of 183 good sunny days, an iconic music scene, a robust business atmosphere for new businesses, and plenty of other perks. But despite this, many keep asking if the city will ever recover. The real truth here is that Detroit is and has been on the decline for a while now. The city has a very high rate of unemployment, one that is more than double the state and national average at 7.2%. That is not all. In Detroit, residents not only lack job opportunities, but they also live expensive lives. The cost of living here is 14% more expensive than in other cities of the state and 3% more expensive than the national average. In addition to a poorer job market and a very high cost of living, we have to mention the crime rate, too, which is so terrible that it is at least 4 times higher than in other cities in the state. In Detroit, there is a 1 in 44 chance of being a victim of violent crimes. It is not uncommon to see residents looking over their shoulders on the streets. Denver's crime does not seem so bad now, does it? 6. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is a well-known city in the state of Massachusetts, so you may already know that most residents are fleeing the city. It has a current population of around 693,417, all living on a land area of about 48.34 square miles. On the surface, Boston is known for its rich American history, popular attractions, and delicious food. A closer look will reveal that Boston is one of the most expensive cities in the United States. The cost of living here is about 48% more expensive than the national average. No, that is not a typo. This is why the Boston metro area lost nearly 37,000 residents from 2020 to 2021 alone. A decline of almost 1% of the entire population. In addition to costing an arm and a leg, Boston is also not the safest place to be. Otherwise known as the city on a hill, Boston has an alarming rate of crime and is only safer than 19% of American cities. 5. Seattle, Washington. Right around the west coast of Washington, in the county of King, is Seattle, another well-known city that is losing a portion of its population. The current population of the city is about 762,687 residents, all living on a total land area of around 142 square miles, and people are leaving every day. On the surface, the Emerald City has easy access to nature, a thriving economy, various diverse industries, and 24 jazz clubs on Jackson Street. However, behind the scenes, The city is busy drilling holes in the pockets of residents with its very high cost of living. It is 36% more expensive than the state average and 54% more expensive than the national average. But that is not all. There is also a chance of your house being emptied of valuables before the bank comes knocking, because the crime rate in Seattle spells out danger. There is a 1 in 152 chance of being a victim of violent crimes on its streets, and even higher chances of being robbed at home. These frightening odds set the rate of crime here above other cities of the state and the national average. The weather here is also playing a part in the population reduction. Seattle has way too many dark and gloomy days in winter, and enough rainy days to leave you feeling blue for most of the year. 4. Washington, District of Columbia. At first glance, living in Washington, District of Columbia, might seem like a dream come true, but this is unfortunately not the case. Washington, District of Columbia, currently has a population of around 707,109 residents, all living on a total land area of about 61 square miles, and it is struggling to hold on to that number. The capital may stand tall as the seat of government that is rapidly growing and attracting young upstarts from all over the world. On the downside, it is unbelievably expensive to live here. Currently, Washington, District of Columbia, is ranked in the top 1% of the most expensive cities in the world, so living here can be a literal pain in the pockets. With residents already battling the high cost of living, it certainly does not help that there is also a bad job market to worry about. The rate of unemployment here is higher than the state and national average at 4.6%. While the numbers do not seem all that bad, it can still be a big concern when you have expensive bills to pay. Residing in the city often means working yourself to the bone while trying to stay afloat. And even at that, 15.5% of the city's population lives below the poverty line. Finally, the rate of crime in Washington, District of Columbia, is exactly on par with the state and national average, so the city offers no comfort of safer streets. 3. New York City, New York. New York, the most densely populated city in the United States, is another place that cannot seem to keep its residents recently. New York City currently has a large population of about 8,930,000 and 2 residents, all living on a total land area of around 300 square miles, and these numbers are dwindling rapidly. The big city is by far the most vibrant and diverse in the world. It is a city that never sleeps, with a thriving economy. It is also the most expensive city to live in, and many think that it is only the skyrocketing rents that are chasing most of the city's residents out. But it is way more than that. The cost of living here is 26% higher than the state average and 95% more than the national average. Along with its high cost of living, New York City also has a poor job market, with its rate of unemployment sitting at 5.9%, which is way higher than the national average. The crime rate in the city is yet another concern for residents, because crime has jumped up 44% since the start of 2022. There is now a 1 in 172 chance of a resident being a victim of violent crime, which is higher than the crime rate of the state and the national average. Based on all that, it is pretty easy to see why everyone is changing their minds about the Empire State. 2. Los Angeles, California. The largest city in California, Los Angeles, is another place that seems to be losing residents at an alarming rate. The city currently has a population of around 3,919,973 residents, all living on a total land area of about 469 square miles, and if you check again, it might be less already. The wave of moving residents began last year and was accelerated in 2022. It seems like the state of California as a whole has lost some of its luster, and Los Angeles, with its great outdoors, world-class cuisine, pleasant weather, and more, cannot do much to stop the trend of losing locals. So why are they leaving exactly? Well, for one, the cost of living here is 7% more expensive than in other California cities and 51% more expensive than the state average. The job market also offers little comfort, with a rate of unemployment that is significantly higher than the national average. These reasons, along with the fact that the city's rate of crime is almost double the state average and the national average, account for why Los Angeles cannot seem to keep its residents. 1. San Francisco, California. The final American city on the list that is having some trouble keeping its residents is San Francisco, the fourth largest city in the state of California. San Francisco has a current population of about 887,711 residents, all living on a total land area of about 46.9 square miles. Even though San Francisco is arguably one of the most beautiful cities in the United States, the last 3 months have seen the highest number of departing residents. Nearly 20,000 residents have already moved in the last 3 months, and the main reason is the housing costs, which are through the roof. The cost of living here is extremely high, to the point that it costs 38% more to live here than in other state cities, and 94% more compared to the national average. Housing alone can be up to 238% more expensive than the national average, which is more than enough to leave a sizable amount of residents on the streets. So maybe sleeping on the streets will not be that bad, right? Spoiler alert, it is. In recent times, the crime rate here has gotten so bad that the San Francisco Chronicle reports that 45% of the city's residents have been victims of violent crimes. So where are people moving? Watch this for the 10 best states to live in America.